Hey, how's it going? uh, you wanna say hello? Should I say hello? We haven't really worked this out yet.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to my second podcast. I have Kaiser Söze here as a guest. You want to say hi?
What's
Just
up? What's
what's
up,
up?
guys? It's great to be here.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about this podcast. Uh, yeah, I'm just excited to be here with you.
excited to have you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Uh, well, I guess we technically shouldn't do an intro until we have.
A name.
Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously like hello and etc. But it's not like a real
Hello.
intro when there's nothing.
That's true. You can't introduce anything. I mean, you
Yeah.
can introduce
Well, you can.
yourselves.
It's just kind of weird to like start. It doesn't seem official.
I know.
Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know.
Just do an intro like
Oh, professional.
something.
That's what I meant. Not.
True.
Yeah.
It just seems like
Just seems weird to just like start
something
talking and
janky.
not have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do it live. Coming at you from. I don't remember what it is.
It was cool when I did it.
Anyways, how's your day, my love?
Day was good. Today was so
Overall.
nice. Well, cause it's been super hot for I don't know. I feel like it's been hot for months,
Well, I mean,
and
yeah, that's what summer is.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. When did it get cold last year?
I don't know. I feel like every year you would think that I'd eventually figure out how seasons work and like when they start and end. And like I know briefly, but I'm not really paying attention anymore. Like I used to as a kid more.
I'm
But
pretty
now I'm
sure.
inside 99% of the time.
Well, yeah,
So
you never go outside.
neither do you, fool.
Yeah, I do.
No,
I
you
go to
don't.
work,
Yeah, you go from the apartment door to your car.
but while I'm driving, that's outside.
I mean, that's true, but it's not like the elements really affect you too much.
They do, especially in that car. It's just a hot box.
I mean, yeah, but that's not an actual reflection of like how it feels outside. You're in an air conditioned car, or you have seat warmers, heat seaters,
Seat heaters
seat
or
heaters.
seat warmers.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I feel like summer is getting longer. Global warming hashtag. You know what I'm saying?
Al Gore's right.
Yeah. You know damn well you've never seen an Al Gore thing, really.
I have.
Name it. Go ahead. Not name a thing. I want you to name the thing you saw, and
His
then I
movie.
want you to give me what's the name of the movie, Katie?
Um,
Al Gore,
no,
the movie.
I don't even remember. But I don't know if technically it was a movie or a documentary.
Well, I mean, it was
I
a
mean, a
documentary.
documentary is a movie,
Yeah,
but I remember.
I know what
Do you know what it's
documentary you're
called?
talking about.
Do you know what it's called?
Uh, no,
So you're just giving me shit for nothing. Okay.
no, I'm just saying I'm not claiming to have watched it and not know anything about it, let alone.
I'm not saying I know everything about it. I'm just saying I
Nah, if you're
know
looking something up,
it
just tell me to do it
exists.
so that it's on the. Oh
Oh.
wait, I gotta start the screen recording. Damn, I forgot how to do that too.
I'm just saying I know that Al Gore said some shit about global warming and
Wow.
so but I know he said a lot of shit and maybe we should have listened to him.
I mean, how do we listen to him? We wouldn't have any of the problems that we have on the planet. So that is, you know what I mean? Here we go. Is it recording? Yeah. Okay. Uh anyways, I think if you have something you want to look up, I should type it in that way, the people at home, the person at home can.
The one person that is watching.
I feel like the hard part about starting anything is like once you have people who are a fan, other people are more inclined, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just how humans work.
Mhm.
But one, getting those first fans is the hardest of anything because like oddly enough, no one wants to be the first. And I will say, sometimes the first fans, like, you know me, I'm very like I like a lot of things, but I'm not like a super fan of a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a couple things, but I'm not even like a super fan. But like, I'm almost like, if there is one person listening to this podcast, I'm like, you should go listen to a different. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
I mean,
because then it really is like having a conversation. It's just one dude or one girl, you know, whatever, listening to you and I talk, and that's kind of like, that's kind of weird to think
that's
about.
just how. I mean, I won't
Well,
say
that's how everything
how
starts.
most things go, just because everyone that I at least, I mean, I know podcasts are a huge thing. Like plenty of people do it, but
Have you
just
ever
the
listened to a podcast?
yes, but just the ones that
Like you watch Al Gore's movie?
just the ones that
Inconvenient Truth. That's what it was. Yeah.
okay. But anyways, just the ones that I know that started podcasts are YouTubers, Joe Rogan.
Oh, that's true. You do have you do watch a
actors,
lot of YouTubers. I'm
and
sure you've
it's
heard there.
like people like that already have a big ass
Well, yeah,
following,
some
and
of
then
it
they start a
transfers over.
podcast. Like there's no like beginning period of only like one person is watching. Maybe
I mean, well, that's why
like
I
I
wanted
wonder
to.
how long it will take for this to take off.
Well, I mean, the whole reason I wanted to start a podcast is because I feel like I'm already pretty famous,
That's true.
and I'd have enough spillover
like,
from my music fan base.
That's true.
But yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like getting things started is always like not. It's, I mean, it's just part of human behavior, but like obviously, not that it's being a bandwagoner, but someone who jumps on the band. Jesus Christ.
Bandwagoner. Yeah, I get
Someone who
it.
jumps on the bandwagon. I had to get through it. It was for me. Damn, what the fuck was I saying? Someone who jumps. Oh, but if everyone that you know is like, yo, I love, I don't know, Gucci. Just to think, you know, like that's how brand names. That's why they're expensive, because everyone recognizes that brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To an extent, that is one of the things that gives value. But so it's almost like, well, yeah, of course you listen to like Joe Rogan, like all of your friends do, and they're who turns you onto it, which is just how things spread. But I just mean like, I feel like it's all about the momentum and getting it rolling, which is why like some people like music rappers, anyone really, they might have almost no fans, or like they have some fans obviously, but like they don't have any sort of real following. And then nowadays, especially with like the internet, that's something only old people say.
With the internet.
With the internet, because kids nowadays don't say that because all they've ever known is the internet.
That's true.
You know what I mean? They're not like, oh, you know, with the internet, like they get it, like they could say that, but they wouldn't, because they're like, well, there's always been the internet. Like, why would I talk about a time when the internet wasn't, unless I'm talking about history? Oh, damn, we're history.
It's interesting that like, yeah, kids nowadays, like, and then when we have kids, it's just there's so much technology and so many things, and
Well, and I mean, it's that way with every generation.
like literally everything's in the palm of your hands. You literally don't have to look anything up in a fucking library. You don't have to.
Have you ever looked anything up in a library?
Yes.
Oh, I've never looked anything up in a library.
Really?
Yeah, I just always knew everything that I wanted to know already. Yeah. So,
It shows.
I mean, I've been to the library, obviously. I was born before the year 2007, so
To
they
be
still
fair,
had libraries.
I only looked up stuff in a library once.
I read books. I never looked anything up.
For my
School
senior
project.
paper, I had to go to.
Wait, senior paper? Girl, we had Google then.
I know, but you had to get book
Oh,
references.
oh.
So they took us to the library over at Sac State, and then you
First
had
of
to
all,
get all your references and write that shit down.
I know you're going to be mad at me for this, but I think people will find it funny, or they'll hate me. I don't know. I need you to pronounce library.
It's how am I saying it? Library.
Oh, you said it right there. Okay. I might just be an asshole. I thought you said library. I was just gonna make fun of
Well, I probably usually do say library just because I'm a very lazy talker. So
Yeah.
I don't fully say words. I kind of just, like I said, I just meh,
Oh, I know much now.
rush
I know.
everything out.
I don't even think it's that you rush, because like I rush, which is why like I stutter, or like I'm like you're just like you're like, what is the minimum amount of vocal force that I need to get these sounds out? And your brain is like, okay, it's a 90, and you're like, give it an 80, give it an 8, that'll work.
That's kind
And
of
so
how
you
I
miss
feel
some
about all
letters.
things. Because, like, I'm also, I mean, with us,
You
I feel
just
like
said you're
it's,
lazy.
I
That's what you
know, I
just
just
said.
mean with us, like, I feel like it's easier to be, like, louder. But even, like, trying to be louder when you're, like, in public or talking to someone. With me, and this sounds lazy, it just sounds like too much effort. So I just talk real quietly and I don't. And then when it, like, what was that? I get irritated and I'm just like,
I mean, maybe if you talked, maybe if you enunciated better, people wouldn't have to ask, what was that?
I also
I'm
feel
just
like when
saying.
I'm trying to enunciate, I sound dumb because I feel like I'm trying to enunciate every single thing.
Well,
That's how
no
I
one
sound.
said that when you enunciate. Like, what?
I just figure that's what it means to enunciate. Even that word,
I mean, I
just
think it's all
enunciate.
also slang. Like
Yeah.
I say certain words, just movie, TV, different accents you hear
Well,
that for some reason
say
stick with you.
dull.
No,
But it's interesting that you say that word. I
I
say
say
dull.
dull,
You say dull.
dull. I just said dull,
Dull.
dull,
Dull.
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 Yours dull,
Dull.
dull.
I'm hearing something different. I wonder if it's
Maybe your
actually
ears are
different.
broken.
No, there's like one other word that you say.
It was dual. I always say dual.
You say
It's
dual.
dual. Yeah. I just
It's
didn't want to. I wanted to. I was gonna stick with it for the whole thing and just make it seem like you don't know what you're talking about. But
you're shaking the cameras.
oh
Just thought I'd let you know.
damn, I don't think it'll matter. I think I'm gonna crop a little bit of it anyway, so it should be fine. But
Okay. We got real off topic. We were talking
I mean that's
about
kind of the point of this.
technology. But yeah, I feel like when I have kids, I will
This is
give
what
them.
every single person says.
Well, no, like I'll give them a phone, but like just the basic, like they have those phones nowadays you can give your kids where it only like calls,
I mean,
like,
I think it.
or whatever.
I think the problem is though, and maybe this isn't the problem, but I know that this is the thought behind that. Is like, do you want your kids to be the weird kid that everyone's like, oh, I would play games on the weekend with you, but like you don't have a phone.
That's a weird thing.
But I think that's a lot of people's thought is like, I don't want my kid to be the odd one out, and everyone's like hanging
I
out and talking
mean,
over their phones, and they're like, oh, do you guys have SMS? Like, do you want to chat over Yahoo Mail?
I guess nowadays that would make sense,
Right.
especially with kids nowadays because everyone has an
Well,
iPhone.
everyone has a phone, even
And
people who, let's just be real, and I was, I've been one of those people. Like, I shouldn't have had an iPhone. Like, I paid $900 for a phone.
when?
Or I just mean like a lot of people get their kids cell phones, even if it's like you're gonna, especially if you have multiple kids, like you're gonna pay just the price of the phone, which is hundreds of dollars at minimum,
No.
and then you're also gonna pay monthly
You know that it wasn't hundreds of dollars.
an iPhone.
No, I
That's
know,
what
but
I'm
when
talking
I
about
was
now. I'm not talking about when we were
Oh,
kids.
well, yeah.
When we
I
were
feel
kids, like a razor was like $70.
yeah, I feel like when we were younger, like
Which
when
wasn't that
everyone
long ago, by the
started
way.
getting phones. Well, because they still had like Nokias and shit. Because I remember my mom having that. Well, of course they had those big ass flip phones and shit.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
that's what I
just
mean, though.
like,
If your parent got you a phone, it was like such a small investment. Now it's like,
true.
you know what I mean? Like,
Because like
it's a lot of money.
I just had a razor. It was like 60, 70 bucks, and then I had Metro, so it was only $40 a month.
Well, I mean,
Or maybe
that's basically the same.
I think it was even cheaper back then.
The
for
actual
monthly.
connection is pretty much still, unless you have like, unless you're trying to get like 5G and all this other shit.
I
It's
will
still like
say
$40 a month.
Metro is trash. I had
Metro is trash,
I
unless they want to sponsor us. In which case, By Metro.
By Metro.
I
No,
forgot you had a
I
different camera for a
literally,
second. I was like, what are you looking at?
I literally had service nowhere in my house. Like I had to
Well,
go
that's just that
outside in
doesn't
random
necessarily
places,
mean that Metro is trash.
but I had perfect signal the one time I was out in like the middle of the desert.
Well, that's just different networks. I mean, I think that's why they've all kind of like there's T-Mobile and then there's AT&T nowadays. I mean, I guess there's Verizon, but like
I have
no one uses.
Verizon. I like Verizon.
I was just talking shit, but then you
Well,
you ruined it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways, I mean, I don't have anything against Verizon. I don't have anything against any of them really. I think it's just, you know what I mean. It's the phone more than
I
anything.
think the only thing that I have something against, not because I know anything, but just because there's so many memes and jokes and everything.
Cricket.
No, not
Oh.
even Cricket. Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile.
It just
Boost Mobile is the cellular service that's equivalent to like cash and check stores.
yeah.
Like, if there's a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I get a lot of people can't get bank accounts, and like that's a whole. I'm not even gonna talk about that because like I don't know much about it, but we all know people, or at least I've known people who can get a bank account. They just like don't want to be
In the system.
in the system, like they're not already in the system, and so you're losing a shitload of money
What
every
money
month.
are you losing?
Well, when you go to those cash and check places, like they take a percentage of
Oh,
the
for
checks they
that.
cash. Yeah,
Yeah. Isn't it like, was it 3%?
I think it's like 5-10%,
Yeah.
and it changes by the way,
I
depending
mean,
on how much the check is. Sometimes it's this percent. I think it gets higher as it gets higher. Like so, the more you make, the more they take out, which is
is that for sure?
I had to use it for like a couple months when I was like 19, just because I was only somewhere for a little bit and I didn't want to open up a new bank account when I knew I was going to move back.
Well, you know, for things like that, because you're cashing checks from your job, right? Usually, when your job gives you a check, and it's most things, like if I give a kid a check,
No, when your job gives you the check, it already has taxes taken out.
what?
Is that what you're about to say?
No, why don't you just let me say it?
That's fair.
When you give someone a check, like if I were to give you, or your grandma was to give you a check for your birthday when you're a kid, if she has Bank of America, if it's a Bank of America check, you can take it to Bank of America to cash it.
I know.
I'm not sure if they take or what they take out, but you can
I know.
still.
Well, if it's that bank, I'm pretty sure they don't take anything.
Yeah.
But my point is that like those cash and check goes, that's how they make money. They just they charge you a percentage
That makes sense.
to cash a check. Well, it does, but it's also like you should only be using that if you literally have no other choice. You know what I mean? But anyways, my whole point being, I feel like Boost Mobile is like that. And to be fair, I have no reason for feeling that way.
It's like I
don't
said,
know what it is.
It's just like from things
Maybe
I've
we're
heard
just like
since I was young.
snobby,
Snobby, yeah.
snobby,
Well,
snobby about our cellular service,
a
which
bit of a
is
snob.
the dumbest. Well, yeah, me too sometimes.
is
But it's over the
something-
dumbest shit.
Yeah, it is
Like,
something weird.
you
Like in
use
my
Boost
mind,
Mobile?
I'm like Boost Mobile, Metro,
Trash.
Cricket.
You
Even
had
sometimes.
Metro, and
I
I actually
know.
looked into Cricket, but
I mean, yeah.
that was when I didn't even have a cell phone.
I just mean now that I can actually pay for a phone. But only because I knew how trash Metro was. Like, it was cheap.
I mean, it just depends on.
It worked, but
It's not cheap. It's the same price as T-Mobile. T-Mobile's $40 a month. I have signal everywhere. Well, actually, I have half signal everywhere.
to be fair, I think it was less than 40, and it was for unlimited everything and international calling because I needed that. But it was there.
It's 2020. You never know when you're gonna need to talk overseas.
We're also talking about two different times. I'm talking about Metro back then, not Metro now.
I also mean that like everything has international calling. Just like any major plan, any major cellular service has international. I don't know that. I
I
think
don't.
so. I know mine does. I think mine does. I have no idea. I'm gonna bow out on this one and go. I have no idea. I started talking and then I was like, yeah, just keep bulldozing through this thought. Like, you've got this. And the more that I said
I
it, I was like,
appreciate you owning up to that.
yeah. I I really do think so.
I mean,
I really do.
I think
I
it
think
is
so.
too. I just think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can call internationally.
Which,
It's
I
not
mean, to be
like
fair, a lot of people, like my grandma calls home to Guam all the time.
that's from her house phone, though, right? And for that, they just charge you to your phone bill.
Well, and also something I just realized is that's not
You still.
international. Guam is it?
I'm
Man,
laughing, but
you
I'm
think?
not sure. I thought Guam was international.
No,
Well, it's
Guam.
overseas.
Well,
It's a.
that
It
is true, but it's a U.S. territory. But I don't
Guam
know.
is.
Yeah, it's not a
Oh,
state, so
I
I don't
didn't
know.
realize Guam
Maybe
was. I know that Puerto Rico is, but I didn't know that Guam
Puerto
was.
Rico.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Um. Anyways, it's a U.S. territory. I don't know if that's different. I can't believe I forgot that.
I
I
didn't
mean, my
even know
grandma's not
that.
gonna listen to
So,
this, so well, that's. I mean, I should have known that.
oh,
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
did know that. I just don't know why I forgot
Being
that.
like 1/16
I mean,
Guamanian.
realistically, I'm 1/8 punk. My grandma's from a village. Is your grandma from a village? I didn't think so.
I don't know.
Your grandma's not from a village.
I'm pretty sure my bio grandpa was from some hut in Mexico,
Ah.
but probably
Uh,
not.
I will say I remember. I don't remember the like exact age, but I remember when like I realized that like my grandma lived in like a village on like a small island. I was like, that's crazy. Like, obviously that makes sense,
Yeah.
but like, even though people in your family might be like, oh, I came from this, you never really like you don't grasp that concept because you're like, well, all I've ever known is like houses or apartments.
Well, true.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to conceptualize that.
Like, especially on such a small scale. Like, it's not like a small town where you can go somewhere else. It's like it's a small town on a small island,
Yeah.
and like
I couldn't even think about
it's weird
that.
thinking about living on an island.
Because that's weird. Even like when I was growing up and like my parents talking about how, like, because they were super broke and they had my brother and they were just living in a small ass one
But
bedroom.
were they a shed baby?
No. But even that, because I grew up in a 3-bedroom, 2-story house, I'm like, damn, that's a small ass apartment. And now I live in a 1-bedroom, small ass apartment.
I mean, I've lived in small things forever. That's why I'm like, this is plenty of room.
Well,
Like, realistically,
we're a different caste system. I told you, you're a shed baby.
I'm not
Upper
a shed
middle
baby.
class.
I'm not a shed baby. I'm not a shed baby. I am not a shed baby. We learned this today. Yeah. I thought it was actually possible that I was conceived in a shed, which is
To be
such a
fair,
crazy thing
your
to.
mother didn't live in that shed, but you possibly could have been conceived in that shed.
No.
Uh, if he
No.
was living
Well, and
there,
also, let's be very clear. It's one of those sheds where, like, someone converts, like, a 10 by 10, which is a bedroom,
was it though?
motherfuckers, into, like,
Are
an
you-
actual bedroom. No, I'm dead serious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still back there right now. I mean, it's just used for, like, storage at this point.
Ah.
But, I mean, all my other siblings were not from my
I
mom's
thought
side.
they were like garage babies.
I mean, they might listen to this one day. But also,
But
they
also,
might have been conceived in that garage.
some things are just facts.
But like, who knows? Maybe you don't know where you were conceived. You might have been conceived in the parking lot of like a Bon Jovi concert.
That's lit.
That is true. If I had to pick conceived in a shed / garage or conceived at like a wild concert, I'd be like,
Wild concert.
that's a pretty dope. Like, yeah, I was conceived with like speakers.
Although
Just
all these things where people are like, you were conceived
how do you know
in the
that?
back, like,
Unless
are
you
you
only
only
fucked
fucking
once.
once? And then you're
Wow,
like,
get out of my head.
and then you never have sex again. So it's
That's what
like,
I
no,
mean.
it's only this
Yeah.
one time.
Well, and also let's be real. People who are conceiving children in garages / sheds or rock concerts
They're fucking
are
multiple
not
times.
fucking one time.
So you can't possibly
Yeah.
know, oh, it was that
and,
one
and
time.
if your mom was like, "Oh, it was the one wild thing I ever," she's fucking lying.
She's probably a groupie.
Yeah.
Sucking
Your
dick.
mom was sucking all the dicks. Just drummer dick, just but that doesn't mean that she's not a lady and you shouldn't respect her. So
Respect all women.
yeah.
Despite.
No, not all women. Not all women. Some women don't deserve respect. Some women are shitty people.
That's true.
Yeah.
But if,
Except for you.
If a woman
if
wants
you're a woman
to be
and
a
you're
groupie,
listening to this,
good
you're
for
not
you,
shitty.
girl.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a groupie. I'm gonna be honest. I don't necessarily want to like
I'm sure.
know that my daughter was out there just
Well,
like
yeah.
running through rock dick.
But I'm
Or
sure
I guess
it'd be a
nowadays
fun
it'd be
experience.
nowadays it'd be hip hop dick. Like no one's.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was weird. No one's. I gotta keep that on too because that's gonna mess with the light. I didn't even think about that. Oh wow, the light will change with the color. Anyways. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to be a groupie. Not now. Back then.
Oh, we gotta have a talk.
Like, I'm just saying.
Wow.
Back then.
Well, if
your
something goes
favorite-
down,
Your favorite rock band.
if something goes down in the future, I want everyone to come back to this episode when I'm like, "Yep, she cheated on me. She slept with."
Who did I sleep with? What band?
I don't listen to rock music anymore. I don't know
I don't
any
even-
of the. Yeah.
Well,
she
I'm
slept
pretty
with-
sure. Who's still around?
I mean, it's not who's still around. There's a lot of new people. 100%.
I
I just
have no
haven't paid
idea
attention to
who
rock music.
Is new.
Is Oh my god. Wow.
No
I know
one?
nothing about rock music anymore. I mean, it's been about a decade since I've really paid attention to rock.
I'm pretty sure, like,
You slept with Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
That was even before our
no.
time, really. So, like we were infants, but.
So.
Or were we? No, that was even. Black Sabbath was over before we were even infants.
Black
That was like
Sabbath,
80s.
That's Ozzy, right?
Yeah, I think they ended in the late 80s.
I would not.
I don't know.
I was gonna say something rude, so I won't say that because
You
that's
wouldn't-
on the
you wouldn't
internet.
sleep with Ozzy Osbourne? Oh, it's rude to say you wouldn't sleep with Ozzy Osbourne? I wouldn't sleep with Ozzy Osbourne.
I was gonna say something a little bit more rude. I was gonna say I
'Cause
wouldn't
he's
fuck a
old as fuck.
vampire.
He's not a real vampire.
No, but he just.
Just a persona.
I'd sleep with Sharon before Ozzy.
I feel like Sharon would. Should be too.
She'd treat me right. I
She-
just get a
nah.
vibe. She wouldn't
Well,
treat
I
you
think
right,
you'd
but I
be
feel
fine.
like me as a
Yeah,
woman, she would
yeah.
treat me right.
I think I'd have to like fight her. She just gives me. I don't know.
And then she'd stab you.
No, I'd have to knock her out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she would stab me. But then no one's gonna believe me when like I have to call the cops and I'm like standing over Sharon Osbourne, and they're like, "You're going to jail," and I'm like, "No, I swear to God, she tried to stab me," and they're like, "Sure, nobody." Yeah,
They
we're
always
gonna.
believe the woman.
Well, and it's Sharon Osbourne.
Also, we don't
Yeah,
condone
but I'm-
domestic violence at all. Unless it's provoked.
No, we don't condone domestic violence. But is it really domestic violence? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, if she deserved it, or he, you know what I mean? Is it domestic violence if you defend yourself? That's not domestic violence. Domestic violence, well,
I mean, if it's an
is it-
actual defense, I mean, technically it is still violence, but
right?
I don't
It's violence
think you
in
can be
the domestic
the domestic.
partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Relationship.
I don't think you can get like charged for that. Like if you are
Well, I
legitimately
mean,
defending
Well, that's the whole.
yourself.
That's defense. Anytime you defend yourself,
Yeah.
you have to prove that it was warranted and yada yada. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, unless you forgot to clean or something.
What? Oh, to hit me? Oh,
No, not hit
okay.
you. I would never hit you.
Mm.
You know what's funny is I can only make those jokes right now because no one watches this.
That's true. If we were
Yeah.
big and we were making these jokes, we'd
Well, to
a
be
lot
fair,
of people would fall off
you can
because a
still.
lot of people are sensitive.
Well, everyone's sensitive. I'm sensitive about some things. My point being, you could still talk like that and be. You could be super. I mean, look at porn. You could have a podcast specifically about just like
Double
raunchy
fisting.
porn. Yeah, and you will have an audience, but you'll never be. It's like
A
celeb.
global.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You if you want to be huge, you
Yep.
have to
Sell out.
not even sell out. I mean, kind
kind
of.
of.
You have to appease to the what's the greatest common denominator? Bam, master. We should do like a little thing every time we say it's like bam, master. Which is just business. You have to appeal to the most amount of people that you can, which means you know what I mean. You can't alienate.
Alienate.
Ooh,
Okay, so
that
let me
should
ask
be a
you
thing.
this.
Every time we fuck up on words, it just goes dumb.
No, just boom, boom, boom.
That's great. But
Italian.
but that doesn't work because then I have to go through every single one of these line by line and listen for all the mess ups and like
Do you
add
want to
that.
be famous, Christian?
I mean, I was kind of relying on music more than anything, but thanks.
No, I mean, this is the fallback. This is my fallback. I'm trying to get famous. I'm trying to quit my job. I'm trying to badmouth the company online. Just the simple things in life, you know?
I mean,
I'm kidding. It's like this is the one thing that gets seen. It's
it
like
would be. Oh shit, we're running out of time. Damn, that was 30 minutes. Hold on.
that was like 23 minutes, but
we're
I
at
didn't
35.
I didn't start it
Oh, we still got
until
half the
like
battery life left though, so let's keep going a little bit.
okay.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I think it'll be one really rare.
Need some Tums? Damn.
Thought I was gonna vomit. No, I'm just kidding.
Ew.
No, I thought I was gonna sneeze. I think it's really rare for a podcast to really take off. If we're being honest, like legitimately reach huge success.
I mean, if you put that negative energy out into the world, it's all about
It's all about
vibes.
I
It's
knew
all
you were gonna
about
say that shit.
vibes.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Positive vibes all day.
Where's this positive Katie at whenever negative Katie comes out and is like, everything is horrible?
My online persona is positive as hell.
Oh.
Positive as hell.
Oh.
I'm only negative like in actual life.
Oh. Well,
It's-
this isn't
it's
real
different.
life, so that's good. Damn, I forgot what. Oh, but also, not only for it to be successful, but to be able to make so much money off the podcast that you can have a living.
It's true.
I feel like that. You know what I mean? Because, like,
How much money does like, what's the top podcast? Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan Experience. Yeah.
How much does he make?
Well, he just
Just-
signed, like, I'm pretty sure a multi-billion-dollar contract with Spotify. Yeah.
Billion? Or is it multi-million?
Well, I know it's at least hundreds of million, but I think it's like, nah,
They're
billion
giving-
sounds crazy.
Multi-billion sounds,
It's multi-billionaire.
I know. But,
Although he has probably the most watched show.
well, yeah, I
on the
heard
planet.
that.
I mean, besides like maybe like soccer, or you know what I mean, like sports, something that's global. Because obviously it's all in English.
Well, that'll be me someday.
Joe Rogan,
I'll be Joe
Gonna get
Rogan.
beefy,
I'll
beefy and
I'll
bald.
branch off from this. I'll have my own podcast.
Oh, you're gonna use this to
Catastrophic.
springboard.
And then
You're gonna use me to springboard into fame, and then just bail.
and
See
then
this
by
shit?
then
This is
Joe
what I live with.
Joe Rogan will just be like, I'm not doing podcasts anymore. He'll step down. I step into that seat.
Honey, by the time you get there, Joe Rogan will be dead.
That ain't true.
Wow.
How old's Joe Rogan? Like 40?
He's like 52.
Oh, he's 50?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I think he's 50. I know he's over 50. So he's like 51, 52. Let's see. I
Well,
should be looking
maybe.
more stuff up.
I don't think
this
he'd
screen's
be.
going to be boring as shit when I
know.
put it in the
I don't
Joe
think that.
Rogan. Joe Rogan. 53. Bam. I feel like that's a normal thing to know, but I'm like, I know how old Joe Rogan is. That's very weird.
I feel like his head shape And the Rock's head shape is very much similar, and I wonder.
Similar. There we go. Bam.
Similar.
Similar. Not
Sim,
similar.
sim,
Similar. And it's
simul,
not like she has an accent. It's not like
similar.
you have like an accent where you say everything weird, but similar.
It's just some words I.
No, I know.
Whatever.
You talk shit about me saying dull.
Whatever. Anyways, they just have that same kind of look, but I
Well, they
wonder
do.
if
Yeah.
it's just because they both take supplements and shit.
I mean, probably a little bit because
Because
they're
they
getting
look like they
older.
got thick ass heads.
Well, they're getting older, and instead of getting smaller, which is what tends to happen, the older you
Yeah.
get, you produce less testosterone, so you can hold up less muscle. Instead of that, they're continuing to grow and beef up because they've got the testosterone. Which, by the way, I'm not talking shit. I'll get on T the moment a doctor is like, "You got low T," I'm like, "Beef me up, baby. Let's go. I want to be. Why would I not stay? You know, just like bam."
Big.
No, not even like big, but just like energized and
Is there like a thing that women can take for that when they get old? Or is that just strictly for a man?
well, I mean, testosterone is for a man, if that's what you're
Well,
asking. But
I
you mean
know, but
something
I'm asking.
similar?
Yeah. Shut up. Similar. That-
I mean, I think after menopause, the thing is right that like estrogen stops being produced, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a woman, but I
This
know.
wouldn't be the first thing about women that I fucking
I
said,
don't.
and you were like, "Is that how it works?"
I don't know.
Um,
I'm pretty sure.
it's a little shocking, and I do want to say I slightly blame the fact that you went to a Christian high school.
What?
On the fact that like some things about your body, I'm like, well, yeah, that's how the female anatomy works. Or something you're like, is that?
Why would I know that?
Because I feel like that's stuff they went over in just like sex ed.
I mean, I had sex
Not
ed,
the,
but
not
that was
the.
like
Well,
fourth
maybe they went
fucking
over
grade.
menopause.
But
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
it
You
was
have
like,
sex ed multiple times in regular schools.
do you?
Yeah. Well, we
Um,
had sex ed in like fourth grade. We had it in 8th grade, and then in high school you take sex ed the class.
It's also interesting,
That's
and I
four.
think that we've said this before, how fucking early. Like, why does a fourth grader need to know about
Well, to be fair,
sex?
puberty starts around 5th, 6th grade. Like that's
That's
when
not
it.
fourth grade, though.
No, I know, but they can't let you. They're trying to prepare you so that
All
you
that
have an
fucking you're doing as a fifth grader?
No, they're not talking about fucking. They're not like, yeah, next year you
That's
just gonna
true.
be
It's
just
literally
plowing
just the
through pussy.
basic,
Yeah,
this
they're
is
just
a
like,
sperm,
yeah,
and it travels to the egg.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just giving you a really basic rundown because in a year or two, your balls are gonna drop and you're gonna start talking like this. You're gonna start developing muscle. You're gonna grow. You're gonna have urges. You're gonna be walking around the schoolyard tucking your dick into your belt because you're
So
like,
we're
oh my,
just only talking about what happens to boys.
no one cares.
What does happen to a girl when she hits puberty?
She starts her period. She becomes a woman. Why am I telling you this? I feel like you said it to like be like, does he know? But then your face was like, no, really, tell me what happened. Uh, the
Well, yeah,
females
that's
they
the
start their
basic thing.
period.
The
They
period.
start to grow
Boobs.
breasts. No, breasts, not
Breasts.
boobs. This is a sex ed class.
Sorry, breasts.
Breasts.
Breasts. Is just...
Their nipples get sore. Is that right?
What?
I know that's pregnancy. I feel like
That is not
I feel like if your
puberty.
boobs are growing, wouldn't your nipples be sore? I don't know. That's a lot of stretching. Like I never thought like because if you think about it, you're flat chested. Like everyone is flat chested before puberty.
No.
Well, unless you're wimpy.
I as a very large child can tell you I had breasts before I hit puberty.
Those aren't breasts.
But yes, I know.
Yeah. But my
because
point
I was
being,
so fat, there's just so much fat.
no, I get how fat works. you don't gotta explain it to me. But I'm saying like, I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine it's got to be like sore a little. Your skin is stretching out.
I mean, maybe I don't
sensitive. I don't
recall
know.
that at all.
I know when I started getting tits, it was very traumatic.
Uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, I was like,
because you're not supposed to have them.
yeah, I was like, what?
Maybe you've
I'm
gotten
not
a
gonna
little
lie,
bit too big.
it was like 5th grade. Someone didn't say anything about me having tits. Thank God. but my mom's roommate, I was a little chubby, and he like,
He grabbed your.
I'm pretty
fat
sure
hump.
I've told you this. Yeah. He grabbed my roll and he was like, "You got a lot of these or something." He said something,
That's so fucked
and
up.
I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. That's probably where my body dysmorphia, like,
I know.
yeah,
Now
probably
you hate
came
fat
from."
people.
I don't hate fat people. Wolf, don't say that shit. Don't put that out there.
Okay.
What the fuck was that? Oh, was that air? I don't hate fat people,
He does.
but I don't like them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, he grabbed he grabbed my roll, which nowadays would be sexual harassment. You can't grab a kid. You can't just reach out and be like, "Why you gotta?"
You can't grab a cannoli.
You know what I mean? You gotta ask for my permission. Like, yo, can I grab that fucking roll of fat? And I'd be like,
Fuck you, Greg.
his name wasn't
At least
Greg.
you didn't get fucking bullied.
I got semi-bullied in 5th grade.
What, for being short?
No, I was actually tall until 8th, 9th grade.
What were you bullied for?
I don't know. I was just, I guess not cool. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, I want to know what it was
No,
about.
I mean, it was just like there was a group of kids.
Is it because you were poor?
I don't think so. I mean, everyone there was pretty,
Poor.
not like poor, but
It's a poor
either
school?
middle class or lower. I wasn't like the only
Lower class.
fucking private school snob. Oh my God.
I'm
Oh my
sorry.
God.
No, you always want me to treat you like you're poor.
I do not.
This is
You
the
just say
time.
some things and you're like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I can't relate. Like, I don't
know.
think you, yeah. Sometimes you forget and you're like, you know how in childhood you went to private school? And I'm like, no, I
Don't
don't.
say shit like
No,
that.
I know you don't, but that's what I hear.
Okay.
Yeah, when you start like saying
Well,
things.
maybe those are your own issues.
I mean, to be fair, because I did have the grandma who loves to travel.
Yeah.
I did go to Italy one time, which is a thing a lot of people don't get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that was outside of regular day-to-day life. However, I bet you when I tell that to people, they're like, "Bitch, you weren't poor." And I'm
Well,
like,
that's why when you had said, when we first started dating and you said stuff like that, but you were like, "Oh, I've been to Italy," because I don't
Yeah.
know all
Well,
the
that's what I
stuff I know
mean.
now
Yeah.
about your upbringing. I'm just like, you
well,
fucking
and don't
went
get me
to
wrong.
a different
Don't
country.
get me wrong. My mom's parents aren't poor, but like we were pretty. But if I were to tell a stranger like, "Oh yeah, we were pretty poor," but then I went to Italy, they'd be like, "Oh, we have a different definition of poor," and it's like, no, I had that one thing, which is a crazy thing. I'm not taking that away.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I was bullied for 1 year specifically, and then I think the only other time that someone tried to bully me was in like 10th grade, and like,
Did you beat him up?
no, I mean by that point, like,
What's his name?
men, I don't know. It started with an M.
Manny.
No. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyways, big kid. I mean, if we're being real, just like, I mean, he was definitely like not fat and lazy.
Yeah.
Like he was a lineman on the football team, but he was also still fat. You know what I mean? Like I remember in high school, people being like, "Oh wow, he's so strong," and then like you actually see what he's lifting, and I'm like, "Well, of course you're lifting 220 pounds. You're 240 pounds. Like it's not crazy. That's actually like that's a push up, dog. Like,
Well, kids are dumb.
well, yeah. But anyways, someone, what the hell was his name? I can see him in my head, but I can't.
Malik.
No, it wasn't Malik.
Malachi.
It was like
Marcus.
Marquise.
Marquise.
I don't know. Anyways, over MySpace,
Oh.
I think it was. It was either MySpace or Facebook, but I think it was, no, maybe it was Space. Anyways, I got into an argument with some kid online, and he was like, something Medley. I don't remember his name. I mean, I think at the end of the day, things ended up being fine, but like basically, I got into an argument with some kid. He called my girlfriend at the time like a whore or something like that. You know, high school,
Normal stuff.
normal stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're commenting back and forth. This is the dumbest. Kids are so dumb, especially with the internet. Like, I almost wish it was like real life, because like I got into like a fight or two in elementary school, and there was no like talking shit from home. It was like
Yeah.
shit either. But anyways, he was like something. He was like, "Oh, you don't know who I am, man. I'm friends with Medley." And I was like, "I don't know who the fuck that is, so I don't care." He was like, "Oh, he'd kick your ass in 2 seconds with his eyes closed or something." And I was like, "First of all, I'd beat the shit out of him if he had his eyes closed." Right? I'm just like being funny, but also like kids say stupid shit. Like that doesn't make sense. Um anyways, the next day, I'm like I'm standing in the hallway, and then like he comes out of nowhere and like he gets in my face, and he's like, "Oh, so you think you can kick my ass?" And I was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Dude, I have no idea." He was like, I'm whatever Medley, right?" And like I was like, "Okay." And like he was like, "You lucky my girl's here to hold me back." And his girlfriend was like a tall, skinny redhead. And I was like, "That chick ain't holding nobody back." And so he was like, "Oh, you lucky, blah 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 blah." Nothing happened. He just got in my face.
You should have just fucking hit him in the face.
I should have,
You should have.
but I don't. Yeah, I've never been the type of person to hit first.
I feel
I don't like
like-
hitting people. Like, don't get me wrong. I like hitting people. Like if I were like boxing, or like I've sparred with people. Not that I'm like a fighter. I'm not saying any of that shit. But I like the sport of it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hurt somebody. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes when I'm really angry, I'm like,
I mean, we're different people. I feel like looking back when I was like,
well, you're like a chihuahua. You
know.
gotta bark and.
I feel like looking back, third grade. Third grade is when I first started getting bullied, because that was when I first started getting chubby, and then but it was like the worst bullying ever. Like it really just like fucked me up. But I hated them so much, and I'd cry. And looking back on it, like I wish I would have. Well, there's two of them. This older brother who's older than me, and his little sister who was younger than me.
Did your
I
brother at
should
least
have.
go beat him up?
Nah.
Oh.
I would have beat the shit. I should have beat the shit out of that little
Especially
girl.
because now you're smaller than everybody.
I
That was
had
your
about-
only time to get the.
I had about 30 pounds on her. I
you
was
could have
big.
just like, ooh, just went, just a weight,
Exactly.
just to a kid. You just, wow.
And
you didn't even
then-
have to be strong back then.
Have someone else like beat her brother up, and then
You should have taken him out too. Been like, yo, I took your little sister out last week. You next, homeboy. It's going down.
I just feel.
I mean,
like,
everyone has those things though, where you think back and you're like, oh, I should have hit that person.
Yeah.
But to be fair, and my whole thing has always been this too. Like, I'm pretty confident that I can handle myself in average situations, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna beat the shit out of like a trained fighter or anything, you know. And to be fair, even someone who's just a regular dude like me has just as much of a chance as winning. I mean, if he has, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm pretty confident in handling myself, but you never know. You could be, I mean, trained UFC like champion. I forget what the dude's name was, but like he was in a street fight, and like the dude just caught him. He knocked out a UFC champion, random ass dude. Shit happens. So I've always been like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight. So like, you know what I mean? Like, cause you never know. I'm like, I might beat the shit out of this dude.
Or someone might
he might
fucking
beat the
shoot
shit
you.
out of me. That's true too. Well, nowadays, but back in
Yeah.
high school, you know what I mean?
Well,
I didn't
with
think
that,
anyone was
yeah.
gonna shoot me in high school.
But now it's like, well, now you can't do shit, because now I'm always
well, now
like,
also you could go to jail.
well, me, I'm suspicious of everyone. Everyone's got a gun.
Well, that's true.
Everyone's out to do something shady. And, well, yeah, you can't do anything because you're over 18. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get
Well, that's
tried as an
my
adult.
biggest fear too is like we've all seen it where like the knockout, and like it's a street fight, knocked out dude or girl falls over. Actually, I won't say girl because very rarely do girls get knocked out. It's just a different level of force. But dude gets knocked out, he falls and he bounces his fucking head off the cement. You can die.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If it's cement, like that
That's
is one of the
true.
reasons that like boxing rings or mats aren't concrete, because if you bounce your head off that, you could die. At minimum, you could cause brain. I mean, people don't think about it. Like, plenty of people get into street fights and spend years in jail,
Yeah.
years, because they got into a scuffle, whoever's fault it was, You know what I mean? Because like, I'm sure in court you could argue like, yeah, you needed to defend yourself, but you didn't need to knock him unconscious. You know. So that's
Yeah.
always my biggest fear. I've only ever had one for sure situation as an adult where someone was genuinely trying to pick a fight. It was actually when we first started dating. Remember that bar? You guys went outside and then you came
Oh,
back
that
in.
one dude.
And yeah, and everyone was like, this dude tried to. You guys were out too, which is probably a good thing. Because like if there was females around at that point, it might have escalated just because maybe he would have been like, oh, I definitely have. I mean, he was just super drunk though, because his friends were like, nah, dude, let's leave.
It probably would have escalated just because back then, when we first met, that was when I liked to get drunk and just be rowdy and push everyone and talk shit to everyone. That's why I'm glad I didn't get my ass beat because I talked a lot of shit, but like I'm scared. Like
Well, and to be
I've
fair,
never
you're
been in a fight.
small.
I'm small.
Yeah.
Like
But it's always the small people that bark the loudest
Got a lot of
because that's
bark.
your only defense. You have to be like, nah, you don't want none of this
that's
shit.
why when I go out, I just be shoving everyone.
Yeah. Not with me, you don't. But
I probably would have escalated that situation.
But to be fair, at the time too, probably because I was young, like he started his whole thing and like got in my face and like I laughed at him because in my brain I was like, "This is a joke," right? Because like
Yeah.
in my brain I was like, "Well, I'm not in high school. Like I'm not a child anymore. I'm not gonna fight some dude." I think he was mad because I sat too close to him. Yeah, like he was eating his food at this table and it was like a common area. It wasn't a table, it was like one of the random
It
bars
was
in a
like on
bar.
that balcony.
Yeah. No, yeah, well like by the pool
yeah.
tables, there's like that other bar,
Yeah.
like level whatever. I think he was mad that like I was near him or something. But I laughed in his face. And I mean, probably cuz I was drinking. I put my hand on his shoulder. I was like, "Why are you so mad?"
Oh yeah, that's
Which
gonna make someone
Yeah,
more mad.
I mean that didn't help the situation. But in my brain, I was like, this is like a 38-year-old man. Like this is like he was like a grown ass man.
Oh, and yeah, and you're at that time you looked hella young, and putting
Yeah, I was
your hand on him,
22
he's
years
gonna
old.
be like, fuck this
And
kid.
also,
Cause you'd be the same way if you're a grown ass man and a kid was like, why are you mad?
also I think it was like he was obviously mad about whatever in his life. He obviously had a bit of an ego problem because I'm also 152 at the time, and this is like a thick older man. And to be fair, it's probably a good thing we didn't fight. He had some weird rage in him. Like I would have tried to defend myself, but he would have been like, "This is for all the times my stepdad beat me." I don't want to take that beating. But yeah, that didn't de-escalate the situation. I mean, his friends they grabbed him. They're like, "Dude, you have to leave," and so they left. But that's the only time that it's ever been like, "Oh, this might really happen."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure something will happen sometime in the future. But since then, I've avoided. The only other time where something kind of almost happened was with Tay, when I believe before we were together at the old apartment. Me and him went out, and some dude and his girl were walking while we were walking this way. They were walking towards us, and like Tay's drunk. I'm like buzzed, but I'm not like drunk. The dude's obviously drunk. His girl's either buzzed or not drunk or whatever the fuck. And the dude says something to Tay. I don't know what the exchange was, but then they start yelling at each other and like moving towards, and I'm like grabbing him and I'm like, this is a rant. I'm like, no, let's leave. He's like, no, I'm just trying to talk. Cause Tay was like, what is your problem? That's what it was. Something. And Tay was like, what is your problem? And I was like, dude, his problem is obviously not you. Like nothing in this exchange warrants. So like, who are you negotiating with? Because that dude doesn't give a fuck.
Well,
You're either gonna fight.
Drunk people have no rhyme or reason. They just like a lot of people once they get drunk, they're just fucking aggressive, and then they'll just start shit just to start shit.
Well, I think it's a lot of times. Obviously, that dude was mad about something. You know what I mean? I'm assuming. But anyways, the cops actually they showed up like right after. I don't know why, but they showed up like right then. Maybe they were just driving by and they heard the commotion. But the cops get out. The dude cop goes over to that dude. The lady cop comes over to us, and she's like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "We were just walking by. We're just leaving." And she was like, "No, no, no, hold on." And like and I was like, "Oh my god, this bitch is gonna escalate it too." I'm like, "Look, lady, we were just walking by. That is all." He just started yelling at us. She's like, "No, no, I want him to talk." I'm like, "He is drunk. Will you let me handle my friend?" She's like, "No, no, he needs to talk." I'm like, "Bitch, he can't talk." But yeah, so I mean, I think that's the issue too. Is like
Yeah.
when you're sober, obviously, as a cop, probably, you know what I'm saying. You really have to like, especially when dealing with drunk people, let alone agitated people, but drunk and agitated people, like you need to,
Mm-hmm.
you need to chill because you're riling me up and making me uncomfortable, and they're already. I'm like, this is not a good
Yeah.
situation.
That's why I don't like when I would go out and drink a lot. It would just be with Sarah, and so that's a woman. So two women drinking together,
Two broads,
it doesn't. There's no issues. We
girl.
did a bunch of
You
stupid
had
shit.
hella issues. You were
Well,
just talking about how you would push everyone.
well, I know with other people, obviously,
Well, yeah,
but
obviously.
those people don't fucking matter. Like they can get rowdy, they can have whatever, and I don't have to deal with that. It's more so the person I'm with. Like, but when you go out with dudes, like if that, and just in my experience, but maybe I just know a plethora of men that don't know how to drink and not become
That's probably it.
aggressive. It's
Yeah, that's
probably
it.
that. But having to deal with that, and then because you're with that person, it's like, I gotta fucking babysit you now. Like, I have to make sure you don't fuck shit up for me because I'm with you. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like a man thing. I'm sure there's women out there that are like that. But to be honest, I just
I
don't
mean, there are
associate
women, but
with
it's just
those
it's not
type of
as
women.
common. It is much more of a
Yeah.
male trait.
Yeah.
But on that note, I think we should end it. We're about an hour. Battery's almost dead.
It's pretty solid.
I mean, realistically, I could plug these in while we record, but sometimes they just randomly shut off when they're plugged in. So I'd rather just keep it like an hour.
Yeah.
How what?
I think an hour's good.
Yeah. What were you gonna? You said. Oh, you said I think an hour. That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the show. We still don't have an intro or an outro. We don't have either.
We don't have anything.
We should record something. You know what we should do? We should do a song by mouth, just how we like randomly just like bust out. We should do a duck, just like a nasty. Just, I don't want to do the noises.
Okay.
Yeah, but we should do it all ourselves.
Okay.
Be
we'll
like,
do
this
that.
is the show. God. It'll be better than that, but we should do something like we should just do something weird.
Okay.
But obviously, to where it
Good.
sounds like we could record each track, and then I could literally mix it and be like, okay, you do the kick drum, I'll do the snare, you do the bass line, I'll do the
That'd be funny.
whatever. That would be funny, right? I think that'd be, especially if we really like we go for it.
Would that be the intro or the outro?
We could have a. I feel like that would be a good outro. Just be
Yeah.
like that'd be a fun way to end things, and then the intro.
I think
don't know.
it
I
should
don't know.
just
We'll have
be
to-
something simple.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So just
for
be
the
like,
time
"Welcome to the
being.
show." Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, just like
Bam.
a sound or something.
No, I mean that.
Oh, that,
Little,
the moves, yeah.
yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah. We'll work on that and we'll see what happens. Maybe in the
and I
next
would say
one.
if you know, a lot of the shows that I listen to, they got their intros and outros from like fans who like are also musicians or just like did a project. But like we have to come up with this shit on our own.
If you happen to be
If you happen to be a fan,
and are good at music shit, like
yeah.
make us
Which
something cool.
Well, I feel like I can't do that. I'm the music guy.
That's true. You
It's-
do
it's
that, so it'd be
kinda-
weird to ask someone else to do
Well, I
that.
don't think it'd be weird. It would just be like, oh, what, you can't do it?
We're too good for that shit.
Yeah. If you scrub,
What?
I don't think people say scrub at all anymore. Scrub is one of those terms that like didn't make a retro comeback. Like no one says scrub.
What song or what words? do we say now that we
Fly.
used to say?
Fly's still around. I
Is
drink
it?
because I smoke. Because I'm fly. Like, that's
I
still stuck
mean,
around.
I guess.
You haven't heard a song with Scrub in it in at least 20 years.
I know. I'm not saying I have. I'm
Well, it
just
feels
saying
like you're
I don't.
arguing with me right now.
I'm just saying that the word fly. Yes, I realize that Bruno Mars put it in a song, but that still doesn't
That's
make it
not
relevant.
a Bruno Mars song.
Yes, it is.
I drink because I drunk. I smoke because
He
I'm
does
high.
that part.
Yeah, it's not his song. He sings the hook.
Whatever. He does the hook.
He probably didn't write that. It's a hook for another artist.
Okay.
I'm just, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, there was that.
Anyways.
I don't think that's Bruno Mars.
It is Bruno Mars.
All right, well, hold on. Just so we have one more thing to show up here. We got to start. We got to get better at, I got to get better at that, I guess. Bruno Mars, I drink till,
Drunk.
what's
Smoke
What's the
till
smoke
I'm
till,
high. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Gucci Mane, Bruno
Kodak
Mars,
Black.
Kodak Black.
Oh,
Told you.
damn. All right, well. Good job.
You owe me $20.
You should probably steal more of my fucking.
I only stole
Dollars.
dollars.
Yeah, that's still stealing
But
money,
all right.
weirdo. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Are you gonna stop it?
Oh, it didn't stop.
It